Hey there, kids. Guess what day it is? It's the day for the last lesson video in Module 2. Super exciting, Lesson 29, the last one in Module 2. So we finished this lesson and we have the credits and the back of the book and we're done. And you guys are going to get new workbooks for Module 3. It's probably 3, 4 together. So very, very exciting. Get ready for fabulous fraction fun in Module 3. But before you can get there, we have to finish up with division and word problems. And of course, these are always a doozy at the end of the lesson, at the end of the module especially. In fact, these are so hard, a lot of kids will not even be able to do these at all. It's just too much. So if you feel like that's you, really, really try to pay close attention. I don't have notes today because there's no skill that we haven't already covered in our previous notes. We're just applying everything. So take everything you know, keep those notes handy, refer back as needed to any and all the skills. So let's get started. Lamar has 1,354 and 5/10 kilograms of potatoes to deliver equally to 18 stores. 12 of the stores are in the Bronx. How many kilograms of potatoes will be delivered to the stores in the Bronx? Okay, so again, I am going to tell you guys, use tape diagrams anytime you can to figure out what is the missing piece. So if I have, let's say, my 1,354 and 5/10 kilograms, and notice that we have kilograms and how many kilograms and everything is the same unit of measure. This is good. It's going to make your life easier. All these potatoes are delivered equally. Watch out for that word equally. It indicates division. If you share something equally, then it's like repeated subtraction, which is division. So he shares everything equally to 18 stores. So if you count out the stores 1, 2, 3, ... up to 18, we know he's got 18 stores. But we don't know how many kilograms are being delivered to these stores. That is kind of our mystery that we have to figure out. But when you have a tape diagram that is now showing you all this divided to the 18 stores, then we know how to start our first step. So our first step would be to take the 18 stores and evenly divide 1,354 and 5/10 by the 18. So let's do that first. Remember, starting with division, always start on the left-hand side and we take it digit by digit. 1 is not divisible by 18. 13 is too small, so we're going to think about 135. If I had 20 and I did 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, that would be 6. So I could at least have 6 as a logical guess, maybe even more. If I had 7, it might be a little bit high. I can always try it and erase and go back. Because I don't have 20, I have less than that. And if I'm multiplying it 6 times, that's going to give me 6 times 2 would be a difference of 12. So I have even more of 12 to work with. So wiggle room. So 8 times 7, 56. We can always change it later. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5 is 12. Look at that. And we actually have enough. So 6 or 7 was good. We tried 7. It worked. Find the difference between 126 and 135. You can use the standard algorithm or you can think about 26 to 36 would be 10, but this is actually a difference of 9, 1 less. Bring down the 4 because, of course, when you do your quick compare, 9 is less than 18. Do your next step, bring down the 4. 94 divided by 18. Again, I wish I had 20 because it sure would be easy. That's that rounding step in your head. 20, 40, 60, 80. If I use 4 of them, but I actually have less than that, could I get 5? And again, 5 20s would be 100. And then, it looks like I have room for that because 5 times 8 is 40. Carry the 4. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Look at that. So we've been okay. We got close enough between 2 digits. So 6 to 7, or 4 to 5. If you try the big one and it's too big, you'll see immediately that it's too big to subtract. But look, we tried the big one and it worked both times. Subtract. We have 4 left. Okay, we are in the 10th place. After you compare 4 to 18, and this is less, bring down the 5/10. Now I have 45/10 that I can divide by 18. If I had 20, I could have 2 20s, and that's pretty close. We can't really go over that. 2 times 8 is going to be 16. Carry the 1 this time. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So we're a lot closer, and again, the difference between 36 and 46 would be 10, but it's just 1 less than that, so it's 9. Now, out of all the lessons we've had, like put up a remainder or don't put up a remainder or put a 0, like annex a 0, annex a decimal, we already have a decimal. So the only thing I could do, according to previous lessons that now we know, if you annex a 0 and bring it down, you can continue dividing. So if we take a look at our options here, if I was to choose 5, I already did 5 times 18, and look what I got, 90. And here is what my new dividend is. It's 90 hundredths. So I can choose 5 and do this step here, 5 times 8, 40. Carry the 4, see if that's from before. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. And that will get us down here to a 0, no remainder. So what does that mean? Well, this is going to be the kilograms that are delivered to all this, hold on, right here for 1 store, per store. So knowing what you're finding, that's half the battle. Now, is that the question? Okay, no. The question, we have to go back to it and reread it again. 12 of the stores are in the Bronx. How many kilograms of potatoes will be delivered to stores in the Bronx? 12 in the Bronx. So if this is 1, we're going to take our 75 and 25 hundredths and multiply using the standard algorithm with 12. Okay? 2 times 5, 10. 2 times 2, 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. Don't put the decimal in here. It's not necessary. Down below, because this is 12 and I just did 2 1s times 75 and 25 hundredths, this next partial product is going to be 10 times 75 and 25 hundredths. Put the 0 there and then just use the 1. 1 times 5, 1 times 2, 1 times 5, 1 times 7. Don't forget the 0. Add these up. 0, 0. I still have kids. I was like, let's do some multiplication. Oh, kids are like, crash. Okay, so got to hold that spot with the 0. 5 plus 5, 10. Carry the 1. This is a 3. This is a 10, 7, 8, 9. Hundredths here times 1s makes hundredths. And you should end up with 903 as your whole number. And so you can rewrite it when you write your statement. How many kilograms of potatoes will be delivered to stores in the Bronx? 903 kilograms will go to the Bronx. Okay, so that is how you can write 903. You don't have to do the decimal and the zeros. That's just kind of extra. It's so extra. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. I think I'm going to turn this so I don't have to flip my book so much. It's just hard because these things don't fit. Okay, Valerie uses 12 fluid ounces of detergent each week for her laundry. If there are 75 fluid ounces of detergent in the bottle, she uses this much each week. In how many weeks will she need to buy a new bottle of detergent? And explain how you know. So we have several things we have to do after we figure out what the numbers say. So first of all, we have a full bottle, okay? So this is going to be separated by the 12 ounces. So if I have my 75, and that's my whole, remember the 75 is the whole, and it's divided by the 12 ounces, and these are all ounces and ounces, okay? This is the whole, it comes first. And this is our per week. And that goes second, or on the outside. Okay, so let's start our division and see what happens here. Now, I know that if I had 10 and I guess 7, but if I don't have 10, I have more than that, I probably can't guess 7. So let's try a 6 and see how that works out. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Got really close. And if you know your 12s, then you would know 72 is the answer right away. Find the difference. 5 minus 2 is 3. And then do a quick compare. That's less. So what do we do now? Well, if you annex a 0, a decimal and a 0, we can go on. Because now that we have this skill, we know we can use it. So 30 divided by 12, well, I know 2 12s is 24. Subtract and get 6. Oh, and I know now, oh gosh, this is getting really close. Annex another, bring it down, because I know that 60 divided by 12 is 5. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. If you know your 12s, then it starts to become kind of like, oh, yeah, I know that, and then you just pop it in. So what does this mean? If she has the 12 ounces each week that she uses it, in how many weeks will she need to buy a new bottle? So what does this represent? This represents weeks. So what is 6.25 in weeks? Well, it's more than 6 weeks, but less than 7 weeks. So if she needs 12 ounces and she gets fully through week 6 and partway through the next week, can she do her laundry the next week? And the answer would be no, because she's going to run out. Because she needs 12 ounces and she's going to only make it a couple of days. So your answer has to consider this little fraction here. So after 6 weeks, so write this out. You have to explain how you know. After 6 weeks, she should buy more so she doesn't run out. Okay? There will not be enough to get her through the whole next week. Okay? So you have to consider, what does this 0.25 mean for the week? It means she's not going to make it through the whole thing. Okay? Let's do the next one. Let's turn the page. Let's see if the page will turn. And let's change this a wee bit. Okay. The area of a rectangle. So they keep tossing these in so that when you get to geometry, it won't be a complete, you won't be completely befuddled. Area can be achieved by multiplying the length of a shape times the width. If it's a rectangular prism, if it's a square or a rectangle, then you can do the length times the width. Sorry, a prism would be 3D, so then you'd have volume. So area is length times width. Now, perimeter is the distance around. Okay, so distance around a figure. So you could, like, if it's fenced, you could go around a property, you could go around a playground, you can go around a school, whatever, the distance around. But when they give you this number in meters squared, you have to have the length and the width to get that. Well, if they already gave you one of them, then let's plug in what they gave us so we can solve for the perimeter. Because basically, they're giving us the full inside, all the squares inside, 56.96, and then they give you the length of 16, and then they say, what's the other side? And we have to know this side in order to get around. So let's figure this out. 56.96 divided by 16 is how we're going to set up this first one. Set up your bracket with your standard algorithm. Okay, so after you plug in your numbers, because this is basically this times the length times the width, so we're dividing by 16. So how many 16s can fit into 56? If you had about 20, 40, 60, that'd be 3, but we have a little bit less, and so we should be all right for 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. Look at that. We are just fine. The difference between 48 and 58 would be 10. So it's 2 less than that for 8. You can also use the standard algorithm. Compare 8 to 16 and it's less, so bring down the 9. Now I have 89 divided by 16. Remember that this is your new dividend as we take apart the 56.96. So this is 89 tenths here that we're dividing by 16. So if I had 20, 40, 60, 80, that'd be 4, but I could probably eke out another one. Let's try 5. 5 times 6 is 30, and then 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. So always be thinking about what's that next number I'm going to multiply. 89 minus 80, we have a 9 this time. Now 9 is less than 16, so bring down your 6 and keep things lined up carefully. 96 now divided by 16. Well, if 5 times 16 was 80, isn't 96 16 more than that? So if I put a 6 here, 6 times 6, 36, use the 3, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So kind of think and be logical and look for things you've already done so it can help you. Now, what did we just find? We found the width. So the width is 3.56 and it's meters. So what is perimeter? Well, perimeter is double the length and double the width. A lot of students will just, you can add them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can also do 2 times each number. So if we set up for perimeter and we said 2 times the length, okay, so perimeter is going to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So if we pop in the numbers that we know, then we end up with 2 times 16 for 32 and 2 times 3 and 56 hundredths. So this is the only thing that you now have to solve for, and it's a pretty easy problem. 2 times 6 is 12, and then 10 plus 1 is 11, and then 6 plus 1 is 7. Hundredths times ones, hundredths. 7 and 12 hundredths, and all this is going to be meters. We'll label it when we're done. Now I have 32 ones plus 7 ones, 12 hundredths. So you don't even have to set it up again. And you have 39 and 12 hundredths meters is the perimeter. You don't even have to write that because P equals perimeter. So, so that is the answer for this one. And there are other ways you can solve it. Remember, you can multiply both sides if you feel comfortable. You can add up all 4, 2 lengths and 2 widths and get it the same way. So many different ways. Kids will do it all, but this is just one way and you can get that answer. Oh yeah, click subscribe and watch more videos if they are helping you come back again. Here's the last one. A city block is 3 times as long as it is wide. Ooh, that's going to be really important information. If the distance around, remember the distance around is perimeter. If the distance around the block is 48 hundredths kilometers, what is the area this time? So now they're saying, here's the perimeter, do the flip-flop. What's the area of the block in square meters? Oh, here's another thing. Square meters, kilometers. That's important. You're going to have to do a conversion. But that's okay. We remember how to do that. And if you don't, I'm going to show you. Okay, so first thing you should do is draw what you know. So a city block is 3 times as long as it is wide. Okay, if this is the width, then the length is 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make it sort of reasonable so that you understand what's happening. Okay. But, you know, a block, you know, is like this, okay? And so if this is the width and this is the length, that's one side. Now, there's also the other one. So if you want to come back, get home, then it would be this, okay? So one side and the other, or one way and then the second. Okay? So here's the whole block together. Now the distance around the block is 4/800 kilometers. Okay, so the whole thing, 4/800 kilometers. What is the area in meters? What is the perimeter in meters? So my favorite thing to do is to convert right away. I don't like to convert at the end. I like to convert at the beginning so that the numbers I'm working with are going to be correct all the way through, because when I was a kid, I would forget. I would do all the work and then I would label it kilometers and go, woohoo, I'm done. And then I'd get it wrong and I'd be like, why did I get it wrong? Because I forgot to convert. So let's convert right away. How do you do that? 4/800 kilometers equals how many meters? Remember the steps. Take this number, 48, multiply by 1 of the old unit. Then take that same number and multiply by the equivalent of the new. Now I'm changing kilometers to meters, so it takes 1,000 meters to make 1 kilometer, which means my conversion factor is 1,000. So multiply 4/800 by 1,000, which means it gets shifted to bigger place value positions 3 times. So look at specifically this one. From tenths, it goes ones, tens, hundreds. So your final answer is 480 meters as your converted measurement. So let's use that one, okay? Now I've got my tape diagram. I have my converted measurement. What do I do with it? So this is where people really get stuck, and this is how the tape diagrams really, really help. I wouldn't have a number if it weren't for the tape diagram, okay? The tape diagram is showing you that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 units. Okay, we call these units because we don't know what it is. It's 8 parts, okay? Equals 480 meters. So if 8 units equal 480 meters, then 1 unit equals what? And so that's what you're thinking of now. Now you should be thinking 480 is being divided equally into 8 parts. So let's divide. This is a real easy one. 48 divided by 8, you should know, is 6. 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract and get 0. Bring down, put up. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, all the way around. So what did we just find? We found out that 1 unit is 60 meters. Okay, now if you know the size of 1, which we just figured out, you can know the size of any and all the units. The only thing we need to know here is what is the area of the block in square meters. It's not asking us for the distance of one side or the other. It's saying what's the area. Remember that area equals length times width. So I have the width. I just need the length. And you can see how to get it. So 3 units would be the 60 times 3. So 3 units equals 180. Now you can plug in to get your formula to work for you. If I want to find the area and I don't know it, but I do know the length and the width, then I would have 180 times 60. Ha! And isn't this looking like you can do it now? So take this one apart because this is actually a whole lot easier. You could use the standard algorithm. I would say that's fine. But look at how you can take out the 18 and the 6 and then take out these 2 zeros so that your multiplication can be so much easier. 8 times 6, 48. Carry the 4. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 4 is 10. And then multiply that by 100 and bam! Here is your final answer. 10,800 meters squared is the area of the block. Again, I would never ever get this if I was a 5th grader. Just telling you, honest, never would have gotten it. I hope you guys are getting it, and I hope this is easy, and I hope you like these videos. Come back again, and you know what? We're starting Module 3 on the next one. So we'll see you soon. Bye for now.